Alrighty, good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing, man? Whew. I barely made it. I barely made it to stream. I was using the restroom, and I have a really old toilet. The toilet that I have in the hallway bathroom upstairs here is from the 1990s. Old style toilet. Old school, metal chain hanging on a plastic arm kind of toilet in the tank. And the chain came off, and the toilet started running. I was like, oh no. So I had to go run and grab rubber gloves, dive into the tank. It took me about 10-15 minutes to grab the goddamn thing. It's a pain in the ass because not only did the chain fall off, but the hook came off too. So here I am fishing in the fucking toilet tank. Trying to get out, like, oh god, I gotta get to stream. I gotta hurry up. I can't leave it because then the water will be running all day. That's money. So... Oh, man. Anyway, I got it done. Got it fixed. Of course, the thing is, perpetually with those old-style toilets, it just happens every once in a while. There's nothing you could do about it. That's why they design new toilets to have completely different plunger-style system and everything in it. Not to say that those are any better, because in my experience, they're not. And in my experience, those also have issues. But anyway, welcome to the stream, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to my final consecutive streaming day of the week. 6 straight days of streaming as usual, right? Welcome to Monday, July 13th, 2020. And welcome to the continuation of Deadly Premonition 2. What a wacky and wild game it's been. Certainly not without its faults. Holy shit, does this game have a lot of faults, right? But certainly has a charm to it, with a plot that is quite intriguing. Lots of dialogue, some of which is very interesting and some of which not so interesting. Some of which just flat out loud funny. They've got so many weird references and things in this game to movies and pop culture and stuff that it's just crazy, zany fun, I think my favorite scene yesterday was juxtaposing a man's arm being ripped off by an alligator with a black man in underwear dancing around nearly naked playing a saxophone. I don't think I've quite ever seen that juxtaposition of images in my life, nor will I ever see it again. But that's the game. That's what this game is. Sadly, the game being held back by so many performance issues on the Switch, including an insanely bad frame rate anytime you're outside. The game's playable whenever you're in a building, but outside, man, does this game turn into crap. And the problem is, it's open world, and being open world, you're outside a lot, so it kind of sucks in that regard. But I'm definitely having fun with the playthrough. 3 straight streams so far. I've enjoyed it. I hope you guys have been enjoying the zaniness of the game. Okay, more today. Another 3.5 to 4 hours of gameplay here today, which will put us a good solid 14-15 hours into the game after this session. The reports are that the games are roughly 20 hours long, but someone told me it could be much longer if you're actually exploring the world and looking for side quests and the like, which I've been doing some of. I certainly haven't been focusing 100% in on it. In fact, some of the side quests, I just can't figure them out. The game isn't clear at all on how to do these side quests, which is quite frustrating, because I wanted to do some of the optional content, and I'm looking for it, and I can't really find it. Like, oh, I do a mission for a guy, I go back, the guy's not there. Oh, well, he only comes back later in the day. Well, I gotta now try to remember to come back later in the day while I'm doing other main plotline stuff, right? Still, I haven't been able to find the bellhop version of David in the hotel that apparently will help me work on the water pressure for a side quest. So it seems like they created a game that's very, very, what's the word? Cryptic? There's a lot of things in the game that are very cryptic, and it seems like if you know how to do the stuff, you could probably get a lot out of the game. But if you don't, if you don't just distinctly know how to do certain side missions, you could probably miss out on a lot of the content of the game. You could just completely skip all the side content, and then you missed out on a lot. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes today. Every day I play this, I have a lot of fun just because the game is so damn weird. So I guess we'll see what happens here. Again, 3.5 to 4 hours of Deadly Premonition 2 on the main gameplay stream right now. Later tonight, it's the return of Animal Crossing. 2 chill hours of Animal Crossing fun. I've played this twice in the last week, and I had a blast each time I played it. Not only interacting with the new islanders and the like, but the fact that the game has all this new content with diving underwater and getting new creatures, we've had a lot of fun interacting on those streams while I do that stuff. So good stuff. I'm looking forward to that. A good way to end the week, a good way to end the streaming week with a nice chill stream rather than something tense and, you know, all stressful. Like last week was The Last of Us 2 concluding, and oh my God, talk about stress and talk about annoyance, right? With that ending, I'm glad we get to do something relaxing to end this streaming week. Okay? Now, this week coming up, when I come back from my break on Tuesday, because I'm not here on Tuesday, you know, it's my usual day off to spend time with my wife, run errands, and the like. It's going to be an interesting week because, number one, I'm going to have a push to finish Deadly Premonition 2. Not guaranteed that I'm going to. I might not. All right, I guess we'll see. But, you know, I'm going to do my best to try to get as far as I can in the game and see if I can beat it or not. Okay? But we're also going to balance that with some chill content. So Wednesday is going to be Deadly Premonition 2 and Fire Emblem Three Houses, which we just had a major story development on the last session of Fire Emblem. So it should be pretty interesting Wednesday night to see where the game goes. Thursday, it's going to be Deadly Premonition 2 possible conclusion, if the game is as long as people are saying. Or if not, we'll just play another major stream. And then Thursday night is going to be my throwback Street Fighter stream for the week. And you might be wondering, why am I doing it on a Thursday instead of the usual Friday night when I usually do Street Fighter? And the answer is very simple, because this is a very unique week where we've got a double new release day this coming Friday. We've got Ghost of Tsushima on the PlayStation 4 paired with Paper Mario and the Origami King on the Switch. Okay? And so once those games release, this entire weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and potentially Monday, is just going to be those two games balanced, going kind of back and forth. Okay? So, since that's going to be the focus of the weekend, obviously, number one, I'm not going to be doing Street Fighter on Friday, and number two, I want to try to get as far in Deadly Premonition as I can, you see? So that's the point here I'm trying to make is, it's going to be a hectic week, but it's going to be a fun one. So once the two new releases come out, I'm going to do Ghost of Tsushima on the early stream, and I'm going to do Paper Mario on the late streams. Now, let's say, I don't know, Sunday, we decide, well, we want to flip it one day and do a little bit more Mario. We can do that, okay? You know, that's good, having flexibility of schedule. Now, in regards to the chill streams, such as Animal Crossing, Morrowind, etc., those are going on hiatus again. You know, this week, we're just not going to have time for them. They're going to have to go on hiatus again for this coming week for the new releases to make way, okay? Now, once we get further into the new releases, chances are that what I'm going to end up doing is do a major game as the early stream. So it'll either be Ghost of Tsushima or Paper Mario or whatever as the earlier stream. And then late night streams will be Fire Emblem, Morrowind, Animal Crossing, and yes, eventually we're going to get back to Minecraft, okay? That's how I'm kind of planning the rest of the month. Now, at the very end of the month, a couple things are going to happen, okay? First of all, Destroy All Humans remake is going to come out. I think it's July 28th. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's July 28th, like the very end of this month. That's going to be a playthrough I'm very interested in because I've never played the Destroy All Humans franchise before, and people over the years have told me it's a great one that I kind of missed out on, and I should check it out. So I am interested in checking out Destroy All Humans, and I'm going to be doing that eventually this month. Now, in addition, if we continue on with the Vest streak, all right, which we still have been doing, even though, admittedly, the past couple of weeks, there's been a few times where we've been very, very close to not hitting it, all right? We have continued to hit it, this Vest streak, the tips goal every stream, 182 Vest streak, all right? So if things keep going according to plan and we keep hitting the Vest goal, it appears that the 200 streak celebration would happen. I think I want to say it's on Friday. In fact, I could double check it again. Let me check it right now. Now that I'm thinking about this. Okay, so here's the calendar. So if today we hit it both times, that'll be 184, 86, 88, 90, 92, 94, 96. Yup. So we would have hit 200 as of Thursday night on July 23rd, which then means that July 24th would be our 200 Vest streak celebration. All right, that's a Friday. So that'll be exciting for a few reasons. First of all, it's a Friday, which means probably more people would be able to attend. During that special event, I've already ordered something for that event special. So that'll be cool. We're premiering something new and cool on the stream that day. During that special event, I'm going to be running down the game's schedule for the rest of the year. We now are finally starting to get an idea of what the game's release schedule is going to look like for the rest of 2020. And it's good because it looks like October, November are, as usual, going to be insanely busy months for games, as always, including new console releases and everything. So, if that is the case, I'd love to go through the schedule and tell you guys exactly what to expect. All right, so we're going to be doing that during the event. In addition, there's going to be a new live DSP Tries It. And I need your feedback, guys, to determine what would be the best thing to do for the new DSP Tries It. Now, I got a few great suggestions, and I'd like to toss them your way this morning, so everyone listen up. What do you guys think about these suggestions? Because there's a lot of them. Get ready, okay? The first one, finally trying the Popeyes chicken sandwich that went virally popular last year, and everyone was lining up to eat this damn thing. Finally trying it out for myself. That's one idea. Another idea, Wendy's has something called the Frosty Chino. It's a combination of their frosty, ice cream dessert with a kind of like a cappuccino drink. Okay? Jack in the Box has 2 items that I could potentially try. One is their new sriracha cheeseburger. Okay? The other is they apparently are selling tiny tacos. Apparently it's like little mini tacos inside of like a container that looks like almost like Chinese food takeout. Now, I tried their taco almost as soon as I moved here 6 years ago. It was one of the first meals I had when I moved here because there's no Jack in the Box back on the East Coast where I came from. And I was curious to try out some of their food. The taco that I ate, the big one, was absolutely disgusting. It was dripping with grease. The taco was like bland as hell. It was absolutely revolting. And since then, I never ate another taco from them because it was so gross. So I can't imagine what these tiny tacos would be like. Okay, so that's a possibility. Taco Bell is apparently doing a grilled cheese burrito, and I looked into this yesterday. So it's a burrito with, like, I guess beans and cheese, but also they've got 2 kinds of cheese. It's like the shredded cheddar they usually put in there, but then it's also like nacho cheese sauce, okay? And then they've got those little tortilla chip pieces, the red tortilla chip pieces they put in there. So basically it's a mess. You're going to bite into this thing, and it's going to like squirt oozing cheese everywhere when you try to eat it because it's going to be full of cheese, molten cheese, okay? Yeah, really authentic Mexican cuisine there, right? So that's another one I can try. Or Papa John's is doing a new thing because Shaquille O'Neal has become the sponsor, that's completely wrong. Let's try this again. Shaquille O'Neal has become the spokesperson for Papa John's now. And he is doing the Shaq XXL pepperoni pizza. And what this is a giant pizza. Apparently it's the biggest one that Papa John sells. Extra pepperoni, extra cheese. So it's just like a giant pizza, huge slices with pepperonis and cheese on it. Okay? So that's just some of the ideas people have come up with for the next DSP Tries It that will happen during this live celebration on Friday the 23rd. If you guys have any other suggestions, I'm all ears. I'd love to hear what else you could come up with during that event. Okay? So, give me your ideas. Do you guys have any other suggestions? Or, out of those that I just suggested, is there one or two that maybe you're leaning towards that you think would be better? You know what I mean? I'm definitely open to listening. There is no KFC donut sandwich. We looked into this last night. It doesn't exist. Maybe it did exist at one point, but it doesn't exist anymore. You can't get it anymore. Because someone was, I'll get the KFC donut chicken sandwich. You can't get it. It was probably limited time. It's gone. Okay? So, excited to hear your other suggestions. No, I am not getting the insanely giant bucket of Wendy's chili. That's disgusting. That is absolutely revolting. If I want to eat a bucket of grease, I could just make my own at home. I don't need to go to Wendy's to buy one. Okay? Excuse me. Okay. So, that's some of the suggestions. So anyway, yes, it looks like it's going to be Friday the 20th. Now I already forgot the date. Is it the 23rd? Forgot the goddamn date again. I think it's Friday the 23rd. Yeah, no. Friday the 24th. All right? Friday the 24th is the day that we're on pace to have the 200 Vest Streak celebration. Now, keep in mind, this is only happening if we continue the Vest Streak, all right? So if the Vest Streak continues and we hit 200, that's going to be the day. By the way, that's not all we're doing that day. Well, I'm sure we're also going to do open Q&A where we'll just hang out and talk. I'm going to be premiering something on there that's going to be pretty cool. In addition, I'm sure we'll have you guys love the Jasper segments. So we'll probably have Jasper come on the stream to hang out for a bit like he's been doing. We'll see what else we want to do that day. Okay, but good stuff. It's going to be a good celebration stream. Something different from my normal gameplay. Okay, to break stuff up, which will be great. Okay, so that's the deal. That's how we're looking right now. I hope that sounds good to all of you. You know, a good week of Deadly Premonition 2 progress, and then Ghost of Tsushima, Paper Mario, focusing in on that stuff for a bit here, and then heading into a 200 vest celebration and all of that. Good stuff coming up, okay? Now, reminder, please continue to nominate games for the upcoming Viewer's Choice event. The nominations process will likely be open until the end of this week. And then the end of this week, I'm going to sit down, look at the nominations, choose the games that have been most nominated by you guys, the viewers, and turn it into a voting poll where you can vote on what game will become a full-on playthrough here on my streams, likely sometime in August, okay? August, in reality, is looking very empty for game releases. Maybe a few near the end of the month, but almost nothing during the course of the middle of the month. So it's going to be a good opportunity to kind of play something as a Viewer's Choice event playthrough. Okay? So, yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. But anyway, yes. Please keep nominating. Now, the other thing is, by the way, how do you nominate? Type exclamation point Viewer's Choice into the stream chat, or a link will pop up every 15 minutes or so. In addition, we have a Tier 2 subscriber goal that we're trying to hit for the month of July. Right now, we're almost halfway through July, so we've still got quite some time. But if we hit a Tier 2 subscriber goal, all right, this means if we hit 765 subscriptions by the end of the month, at any point, not only will the game that wins the Viewer's Choice poll become a full playthrough, all right, but the second place game in the polling will also become a full playthrough. So this worked out really well last time around we did this event, because we had Banjo-Tooie became the game that won the Viewer's Choice, and then Fire Emblem Three Houses became the game that was second. But because we had a Tier 2 subscriber goal, both games are full playthroughs. You see? That's why I'm still playing Fire Emblem, and I will be for a while. Apparently, I'm not even halfway through it yet. So that's great. I hope we can do that because it worked out very well last time. I hope if you're not a subscriber to the channel, you will subscribe for various positive reasons. For example, getting over 40 different emotes that you can use here on Twitch, getting a cool chat crown badge to show how long you've been a supporter, and of course, not having to watch advertisements when I take ad breaks. Everyone hates ads. I do too. It's a good way to skip those, okay? So please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not yet, all right? So, lots of rumors going around right now. Lots of speculation that maybe this week, maybe even as early as today, there's going to be an announcement about the PlayStation 5, the models that are going to be offered, the actual release date, and pricing. Okay? Interesting. Very interesting. Sadly, right now, I would not be able to pre-order the console this month coming up. In fact, I just started work on this behind the scenes, but this month I've got to pay a retainer to my lawyer in order to work with the federal government to work on back taxes, which is probably going to be a weeks-long ongoing process. So right now, I have no funds available to pre-order anything. Now, maybe after this whole process is done, maybe the end of this month or early next month, maybe then I would have a better idea of what I'm looking at, you know, money-wise and everything. I'd be able to see if I can afford to put down the money to pre-order the console. But chances are, what's going to happen here is if they do order pre-orders like this week, I'm probably going to miss out because I'm not going to be able to do it. And I almost guarantee you the level of hype is going to be off the charts and people are going to pre-order the shit out of this thing. It's going to sell out everywhere. So I guess we're going to see what happens. Okay? I guess we're going to see what happens. But, you know, we'll go from there. You know, hopefully things will work out. I would love to pre-order the thing right now, but I'm just not going to have the money to do it. You know, just this, like I said, I was just behind the scenes this morning starting discussion with my lawyer about the stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to afford what I need to afford right now with the tax situation. I mean, I'm hoping it works out for the best, because I want to get back to where I was, 4, 5, 6 years ago. Back then, I was making enough money and wasn't up to my eyeballs in debt so that I could afford anything I needed. If I needed, oh my God, a monitor broke, I could buy one immediately. Oh, I need a new console, I could buy it. You know what I mean? Like, I need to get back to that situation where I have liquidity again. And I haven't had that in a long time. Those last few years, it's really been your generosity and support of my content and my streams that's allowed me to keep going with everything that's happened. If you remember, 2 years ago, my PlayStation 4 was dying. It had tons of problems, and it was affecting the streams and the playthroughs. So someone, donated a PS4 Pro, and, now I'm able to keep doing, keep going. This really stinks. I would love to be able to pre-order the PS5 right now if it goes live as pre-orders open, but I can't. I'm in a situation still where I need to get, I've been telling you guys, this is the last hurdle for me. If I can get back on a situation where I'm paying everything on a regular basis now, I'm catching up, and everything is fine, and no one's coming after me for anything that I owe, I'm good. And I'm almost to that point. This is the last situation here. And I'm worried. I'm nervous, because things have been going so well for me lately that now something's going to, you know what I mean? It's going to creep up, bite me in the ass. Haha, fuck you. I get screwed over. I hope not. I hope that's not the case. But we'll see. So anyway, yeah, if the PS5 pre-orders and everything get released this week, great. I think we all want to know what's the pricing, when's it coming out. We all want to have that information. For me, it wouldn't be very advantageous if it came out this week. I was kind of hoping that the information wouldn't come out until maybe August, when maybe I could see what's going on with me and maybe be able to afford it. But I guess it is what it is. And if it ends up selling out everywhere and I can't pre-order it for the launch, I guess I can't pre-order it for the launch, and there's not much I can do about that, right? What's funny about this is I remember the PlayStation 4 launch. I'm trying to remember how I got it. How did I do the PlayStation 4? If I remember correctly, now keep in mind, this is back when I lived in Connecticut. It was very different. I think I just walked right into my local GameStop and I pre-ordered it, no issue. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we're already backed up, oversold or whatever. I think I was just able to walk right in and say, I'd like to pre-order the PS4, and I was able to do it no problem. And in fact, I remember I pre-ordered 2. I pre-ordered one, and then there was one that I ended up giving away to a viewer. So, yeah, like, it didn't seem to be an issue last console generation, right? I don't know if it'll be an issue this console generation or whatever. I'll have to see. But hopefully things work out and I'll be able to get it at launch. Hopefully. If not, I guess I gotta wait a little bit. What can I do, right? We'll see what happens. So anyway, that is one of the big things going on. Now, the other thing going on is I'm now seeing a full-on media blitz hype for Ghost of Tsushima, which comes out this Friday. And here's the thing about Ghost of Tsushima that I feel is going to be a lot different of a situation from The Last of Us Part 2. All right. With Ghost of Tsushima, this is a game that's been hyped for a while. It's a new outing for Sucker Punch. Okay. There are no predetermined expectations for Ghost of Tsushima because there's no other game in the franchise. You see what I'm saying? This isn't a sequel. This isn't a prequel. This is its own original outing. All right. Now, we know that Sucker Punch is capable of making quite good games. The whole infamous series of games was quite good. Although, admittedly, the last games in the series, Second Son and, what was it, the standalone expansion, what was it called, like First Light or something like that, or Last Light, were not as good, in my opinion, as the first 2 games. All right? So, it's kind of in question. Sucker Punch has never made a game like this before. Feudal Japan, open world combat, etc. What's it going to be like? Is it going to be any good? I'm hearing all these rumors that the game could be 50 hours long if you do all the content in it. You may not be that long if you just do the story, but there's apparently, the side quests are very meaningful. One person actually said the side quests are just as well written as The Witcher 3. To which I'm like, wait a minute. The Witcher 3 basically had the absolute best side content of any game I've ever played. I'm not going to lie here. I'm not exaggerating. That side content was outstanding. It was like really great to the point where it was like, oh my God, Every quest is meaningful. Every quest has great writing. It feels like it's important to do every side quest you come across in Witcher 3. It's not, oh, go kill 12 generic enemies and come back to me and I'll give you 200 gold. You know what I mean? It was like, go out there and there's a big mystery if someone got murdered in the woods and use your Witcher tracking to figure out what it is. Was it a bunch of bandits or was it a creature? Oh, look, now this leads into another quest line. You see, it was really cool how they did it in Witcher 3. By the way, I apologize. I hit my mic by accident. I was so excited. I was waving my arms, flailing them about like an idiot. But that's how Witcher 3 was, okay? If Ghost of Tsushima has side quests like that, that's amazing. This game's going to be so immersive, and we're probably going to be playing it for weeks. You know, Last of Us 2 took 2 weeks to beat. Can you imagine how long it'll take to beat this game? Maybe we'll be playing it into August, which is okay. If the game's great, I don't mind, all right? But I'm hearing rumors. The thing is, the review embargo has not lifted yet. I believe the review embargo lifts tomorrow, if I'm correct. I think it was July 14th, which means we're going to finally start seeing full-on reviews from gaming media tomorrow. Now, I've got to say something up front about this, all right? We've had 2 very high-profile games on Sony consoles recently. One is The Last of Us Part 2, and now we've got Ghost of Tsushima a month later, right? Will the games media treat Ghost of Tsushima the same way they treated The Last of Us Part 2? Or, because this game does not have an agenda that it's pushing down your throat, will it not be treated like that? And what I mean by that is, when all the reviews came out for Last of Us Part 2, we were all very skeptical because it was 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. You know, best game ever. Unbelievably amazing game. And then when we actually played it, we were like, all right, great world design, great graphics, great gameplay. The plot is terrible. The plot is nowhere near as good as the first game. Characters out of character. I'm not going to go into it because you can just watch my review of the game to understand my feelings about how badly written and how bad the story was and how it was just a misery fest, okay? So how did every single major games journalist say the game was a 10 out of 10 with their early release copies and their early reviews? Because they were sucking Sony's butt. They wanted this game to perform well so that they could continue to have a great relationship running with Sony and that they could continue to get early release copies of the games. I don't believe the conspiracy theory that they were paid off and shit like that, but I believe that this is an ongoing relationship between games media and the journalists and Sony. They want to be in the good graces of Sony. Yes, the game plays great, but I'm sorry, no one calling the game out at all in the major games media for the story. Only one person did. No lie, only one person majorly did who got the game early. And they were actually like respected and applauded for doing that because they said, wow, you seem like you're being honest while everyone else just kissed the game's butt constantly. And in addition, the reviews were not able to talk about the second half of the game, which totally flipped the game on its head where you play as basically the villain. You play as them learning that, oh, they're not such a villain. It's their story of redemption and blah, 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 blah. So it's pretty silly in that regard. That it was a secret and it was bait and switch. You know, so many issues with Last of Us Part 2 that no one addressed in their early reviews and everyone gave it a 10 out of 10, right? Then when the game finally released, people destroyed it. People who actually played the game were like, no, I love the first game. It's my favorite game of 2013, and this game's nowhere near as good because the plot sucks ass. It pushes too many agendas. It tries to do this and this. You see? So this is the difference I feel between Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us Part 2. You know, Last of Us Part 2 had all this controversy around it, had plot leaks 2 months before the game came out. Everyone was saying giant controversy around the game because of the political aspect of it and what Neil Druckmann was trying to do with the plot and blah, 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 blah. None of that is happening with Ghost of Tsushima, okay? So I gotta wonder, when this game releases this Friday, and of course with these early reviews coming out supposedly tomorrow, will this game get the same treatment from games media? Or is it going to be, well, this game doesn't really push those leftist agendas, and, you know, the game isn't a fucking misery fest by a guy who people are trying to be in good graces with, so will they not kiss the game's butt in their early reviews? You know what I mean? I definitely feel this is a totally different vibe for this game than there was for Last of Us Part 2. For Last of Us Part 2, there was this giant controversy around it, and everyone was talking about it. Not to say people aren't talking about Ghost of Tsushima. They are. I'm looking on social media. People are very excited for this game coming out on Friday. They're hyping it up, and I see memes about it already and everything. You know, it's neat that people are getting excited again for another game. But I'm curious on how the game is going to be received this week. You know, this is not a game that's going to push political agendas. It's set in feudal Japan. What political agenda are you going to push exactly? You know? So, because of that, will now it not be held in the same regard as Last of Us Part 2? Even if the game plays great, looks great, you know what I mean? I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. For me, I could give two shits about the political agendas. I just care if the game is good. And for me, Last of Us Part 2 was a game that was fun to play when you were doing the gameplay and an absolute misery whenever the story was taking place. So it was like a half and half for me, and that's why I didn't overall like the game. This game could be completely different. I don't know. Okay, so we're going to see what happens with Ghost of Tsushima. Bobby Ling trying to talk shit, but I caught him out because this didn't even happen. He said, remember when Phil liked the ending of Mass Effect 3, and then with all the hate that hit the game online, he flipped his opinion. That never happened. To this day, I still like the ending of Mass Effect 3. Yeah, it's true that it's a bait and switch where they said that there was going to be an ending that was very meaningful per your decisions over the course of the franchise. And in the ending, it was just 3 different colors, right? What was it? Blue, green, and red or something like that? But I actually liked the plot of the ending. I was like, that's actually neat how, 3 different outcomes. It's shitty they only made one fucking cutscene for all of it. But I liked the ending. And to this day, the ending was not terrible. Now, they made an entire free DLC to actually make a better ending that people really liked, right? So, obviously, they realized they fucked up and they fixed their mistake. But I never said that I absolutely hated the ending of Mass Effect 3. You know, everyone else did. I didn't. You're right, I was in the minority. So please, Bobby Ling, don't put words in my mouth, because that never happened. You're trying to prove some kind of a point here that doesn't exist to claim that I'm a bandwagon jumper. I'm the opposite of being a bandwagon jumper, all right? We'll see what happens this Friday. I'm now getting more and more hyped for Ghost of Tsushima, and I hope it's really good. Because as I told you guys, this year for me has been a very, very deflating year. Every game is hyped, every game comes out, and it's not so good. It's mid-July, and I don't have a single game that I can think of this year that I'm like, oh man, Game of the Year contender. So I'm hoping things will change shortly. Now, the other game coming out on Friday, Paper Mario and the Origami King. All right? Well, I had hopes for this. Now, I've only played one Paper Mario game ever. It was Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. Very old game. That game, I believe, is from the first half of the 2000s, if I'm remembering correctly. I played it on the GameCube for a bit, and I never went back to it, never finished it. So I don't even really remember it. I just remember actually liking the game. That's all I remember. Okay? Well, this game coming out on Friday apparently leaked. Apparently the entire freaking game was dumped on the internet, and there are people out there with, of course, illegal emulators who downloaded the game and are playing it early and are saying the game sucks. Now, I don't know. I don't know anything about the franchise, I really don't know. Someone made a comment yesterday. All right, and they said, this is the best way we can describe the new Paper Mario game. Imagine that you're a huge fan of Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, or just Street Fighter in general, but the game that they released was Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, and that's the new game coming out on Friday, right? So it's not even a fighting, it's a puzzle game, but it has the characters from a fighting game in it. So you understand? I guess what they're trying to get at is that the gameplay of Paper Mario and the Origami King is nothing like previous Mario games, nor is it gameplay anything like previous Paper Mario games. It's something completely different. Okay? So I guess we're going to see this Friday. I honestly don't know what to expect at all. Because I've never, like I said, the last one I played was 2 decades ago, and I didn't finish it. So it will certainly be interesting to see how this game turns out. And it'll certainly be interesting to, be playing it. What I'm hoping is not a dud. I'm hoping that even if it's not up to expectations of fans of the series, it's still entertaining for us. As long as I'm enjoying myself or you guys like the stream. What I'm nervous about is 2 new releases on Friday. I buy them both, right? One is great, and one everyone hates. And everyone yells at me because, like I said, my whole plans for this weekend were going to be Ghost of Tsushima and Mario balanced for 4 straight days. What if after 2 days people are like, Mario sucks ass, you know, drop it? And I'm like, well, drop it. I just bought it, you know, that would suck. So I'm hoping that it's not. I'm hoping that at least it's entertaining enough to warrant a full playthrough of. You know, I don't know how long the game is going to be or whatever. But admittedly, it does make me worried because, sadly, games aren't what they used to be. It used to be, you know, new release comes out and you can usually trust in a company like Nintendo. Oh, well, this is, you know, one of Nintendo's big properties and it's going to be good. And now in these days, I don't even know if you could trust that, honestly. This year's been such a crazy disappointment for games that I every single game coming out, I'm like super skeptical about now. Maybe it's now I'm just being way more defensive and way more skeptical because I'm expecting so much from all the games this year, and there hasn't been anything really good, right? It's probably what it is. But anyway, Friday should be an interesting day either way. We're gonna see what the hell happens Friday here together. All right, guys. All right, that's all I've got. So now what we're gonna do is get to shout-outs here for you guys who have contributed. In fact, I need to refresh my stream chat because I see that the leaderboards in my stream chat did not refresh properly overnight. But as I'm doing that, I can start giving shout-outs. So first shout-out is to Lonely Spliff, who subscribes to the channel. Thank you to Lonely Spliff for the sub. Potato Hater also subscribed to the channel. What a name, Potato Hater. Gorilla X Pimp is the first tipper of the day. Let's get them up on the leaderboard. Okay. So Gorilla X Pimp tipped me $1.30 and says, Phil, I love what you do. I don't understand the hate. The way that I found you out was actually through a This Is How You Don't Play video. And I don't get the way... No, I don't get it. I spend the day watching your streams all the time, and I keep it up. Any chance? Can we see you play Yoshi's Story 64? It's always a possibility, especially if that's a game that's available on a virtual console. Like, let's say that's available on the Wii U Virtual Console, or if they eventually add it to the Switch as a virtual console game, yes. I don't have means to play actual, you know, physical Nintendo 64 games. So if that's the case, then the answer is no. I don't know anything about Yoshi's Story. I've never played a Yoshi Story game. I played the Yoshi's Island games, but never the Yoshi Story. So, I don't know. I don't know what it is. If you guys are interested in seeing me play something like that, hey man, viewer's choice. I'm just saying. It's funny because this past week, a lot of people have been coming on my streams and been like, will you play this game? Will you play that game? Are you interested in this game? And I'm like, hey, viewer's choice. You know, that's what we're doing the event for. So, hey, you want to see me play it? Nominate it. The nominations are still open. Okay? King Cuck69 resubscribed for 2 months. Thank you, King Cuck. Appreciate that. DJ CTE did a 50-bit cheer. And he says, which game do you feel was better? Assassin's Creed Origins or Assassin's Creed Odyssey? Also, a Buttery Jack Burger DSP tries it would be awesome throwback. Well, first of all, I'll answer the latter question first. Or the latter comment first. I already played. Ugh. I mean, I guess you consider it as a game. You're basically playing with your life if you eat a Buttery Jack, right? I already tried the Buttery Jack years ago. In fact, I've already eaten 2 different Buttery Jacks. I ate the original, and then I ate the one that came out that was a variation of it, that something new or something. Both times it was gross. One time I thought it was more edible than the other time, but the thing's dripping with butter. It's disgusting. You know, if there were a brand new Buttery Jack burger that somehow Jack in the Box was pushing it, maybe I would try it. I'm not going back and re-eating the Buttery Jack. I know it's going to be just as disgusting as the other 2 times. I'm not going to do it again. All right, it's just nasty. There's more than enough new products for me to try, new food items, than going back to the Buttery Jack. Now, Assassin's Creed Origins or Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I like both games. I felt that Origins was interesting, but maybe needed a few improvements or tweaks. I actually said, I remember during when I was finishing it, a good first effort for changing the franchise up to be something that previously it wasn't, turning it kind of open world instead of just being in a confined city doing stealth assassination work. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is basically Assassin's Creed Origins with a better story, more likable characters, and gameplay improvements. But in reality, it feels like the same game. And I even said when I was finishing up Assassin's Creed Odyssey man, this game might have actually felt more refreshing and better if it didn't come out a year after Assassin's Creed Origins, because it really does feel like the same game with a few tweaks. And I don't understand why they put them out so close together like that, because it wasn't even long enough for you to like be missing the first game and then basically playing almost exactly the same game again. So I don't think that there was an issue at all with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I think the issue was it was too similar of a game from the one that came out the year before too quickly. Speaking of which, now people are saying from the footage they're seeing of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it seems like it's the same as Assassin's Creed Odyssey, only it's with Vikings. So, it's funny because I actually saw this morning, there was a Twitter discussion about Assassin's Creed and what's happened to it. And someone actually took a scene, I want to say it was from Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's a scene of an assassin, he's jumping off a rooftop, aerial execution, turns, pulls out his gun on his hand, his assassin's blade, what do they call it, hidden blade, shoots the gun, kills another guy on another rooftop, sneaks over to the other rooftop, pushes the guy off a ledge, is basically showcasing all of the old gameplay that made Assassin's Creed unique and interesting back in the day. And the guy says, whatever happened to this? Why is Assassin's Creed nothing like this anymore? All right, and then a content creator replied to that guy's post on Twitter and said, I'll tell you exactly what happened. The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 came out and ended up being the most profitable open world RPG like ever. And when Ubisoft saw that, they became insanely jealous that they were putting out games every year, Assassin's Creed, that the sales numbers were going down and down. They put out Assassin's Creed Unity, Assassin's Creed, what was the other one? The one that was set in, was it Liberation? Whatever the ones were, like 2-3 years there, where their sales numbers were on the decline. And they saw Witcher 3 explode and got so jealous that franchise was doing so well while their major flagship franchise was in decline. They literally changed up their entire game franchise to emulate Witcher 3 to try to jump on that bandwagon. And it's funny because the guy who apparently made that decision, the head of creative control or whatever he was called, just stepped down at Ubisoft because he's involved in part of this scandal of sexual misconduct. Now, I don't know if he was one of the people actually directly accused of the sexual misconduct or if he's one of the people who they're accusing of covering it up in the company. But basically, he's the guy who decided we're going to change Assassin's Creed from being stealth-based to open world exploration, open content, side missions, etc. Like, he changed the whole thing. And he's out. He just got canned. All right? So the question is, what's going to happen now? Let's say Assassin's Creed Valhalla comes out this year, and everyone says it's a bootleg Witcher 3 again. It's kind of lackluster. It's a good game. But then Cyberpunk comes out 2 days later, and the whole game gets obliterated and doesn't sell anywhere near as well as what Ubisoft wants, right? By the way, Cyberpunk made by the same makers of Witcher 3. So this would be the second time in a row that CD Projekt Red completely outsells and just basically screws over Ubisoft with their flagship title, right? So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. But if let's say that Assassin's Creed Valhalla does not do great, or at least not as well as they want it to, will they now change the game back to what it was? Will they say, well, the guy who was in creative control, we shit-canned him. Let's go back to the origins that people have been complaining aren't around for a while. Will the next Assassin's Creed game feel like a legit old-school Assassin's Creed game? I don't know. Interesting to speculate, of course, but we don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, good discussion. Shirtless Mofo just did 1,000-bit cheer. Thank you very much, Shirtless Mofo. He said, hope this helps, bro. Really enjoying the Deadly Premonition gameplay so far. Me too. I really am enjoying the playthrough. The game is so weird and runs like terribly. I mean, no one here is going to argue that this game plays great. But it's still entertaining. And at the very least, with this case, this is the opposite of like The Last of Us Part 2, where that game, the gameplay was outstanding, but the story was terrible. The story here is so good, it doesn't matter that the gameplay is bad. The story is riveting and interesting, and it hooks you. And because of that, we're enjoying the playthrough. So I hope you guys continue to enjoy it. I'm going to keep playing it this week. Thank you, Shirtless Mofo. Very generous cheer. A-Site Cheer says, I think the problem with gamers nowadays, they look at every major release with unreasonable expectations. They thought Resident Evil 3 Remake would be like Resident Evil 2 Remake. They thought Final Fantasy VII Remake would be just as good as Final Fantasy VII. They thought Dragon Ball Z Kakarot will be the open world RPG game that we always wanted. So forth and so forth. It's important to approach every game now with low expectations so that at the end of the day, you won't be disappointed. And if the game is good, great. If it's bad, oh well. Well, here's the thing. Let's actually directly analyze what you're saying here, Asay. All right? Resident Evil 3 Remake, we all wanted to be as good as Resident Evil 2 Remake. Right. Because Resident Evil 2 Remake came out last year, and Capcom proved that with great source material and a lot of effort, they could make an outstanding game. I actually said last year, Resident Evil 2 Remake is one of, if not my favorite survival horror game of all time. And didn't I pick it for my game of the year? I think I did. You know? That's how fucking good that game was. Resident Evil 3 Remake was good, but you took source material that wasn't as good. It was way too short. And did they take a little bit of creative liberty and add a little bit in? Yes. By the way, they also cut out a lot of stuff. You know, like there was gameplay in it. I remember there's a park segment you run. That's not in the game. They cut out a bunch of stuff. So, to me, it's actual completely two examples of what to do right and what to do wrong. To do it right, you take the source material, you elaborate on it, you make it modernized, great graphics, great story, new voice acting, good new gameplay elements, two sides of a story, outstanding, 2 thumbs up, best game of the year. Resident Evil 3, rush it out, right? Rush the game out super quick, cut corners, cut content out, less than half as long as the first game, and expect that it's going to get the same reception. Of course not. You see? Now here's the thing. Capcom could have waited 2-3 years to put out Resident Evil 3 Remake and made it outstanding. They didn't care. They wanted to make a quick buck. So we based our expectations of Resident Evil 3 directly on a great game that Capcom put out the year before. Is that unreasonable? No, not in my opinion. We're basing it on expectations from the game they just put out. Why would we now say, well, the next one's going to suck? You can't look at a game developer and say every other game will be good. No, they should have this quality standard no matter what, and stop trying to rush out games for profit. Final Fantasy VII Remake would be just as good as Final Fantasy VII. Well, first of all, I don't even like Final Fantasy VII that much. I told you guys, I actually like the combat system and the gameplay. I never really liked the story or the world design of the game. So I was always heavily critical of the original Final Fantasy VII. I'm sorry, I just don't think the combat of the remake is good. I think the combat is less interesting and less complex than the turn-based combat of the original game, and sadly, the combat is the major focus of the game, outside of watching cutscenes. So that's a problem for me. That's what I mean. The graphics were great. The story, I mean, if you could follow it, was pretty good. Of course, you had to have played the original Final Fantasy VII to even understand it, which they didn't tell you beforehand. It was definitely a bait-and-switch plot. I'm not saying Final Fantasy VII Remake wasn't great. I think it definitely was a really great effort, but it actually could have been better for many different reasons if they just either adhered to the old school formula or if they just made it the old game instead of doing something different. They were so adamant on making a new game with a new combat system and a new plot that, I don't know, it just didn't turn out as well as I wanted it to, okay? Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, now, you see, that one's, I'm skeptical. I didn't even expect it to be that great, and the reason being, we all knew what it was going to be. It's like, it's going to be an open world RPG with action-based combat. I feel if it was a turn-based combat, all right, and they had approached things a little differently, it might have been even better. But, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that the consumer should have to be insanely skeptical about every release. That kind of kills a lot of positivity around games. We shouldn't expect that every game developer is out there to rip us off and to put out a subpar release. We should expect greatness from those who put in the time and effort to make a video game. The same quality standards we have for television shows and movies and other artistic mediums, why should we suspend that for video games? I don't understand that mentality. I mean, yeah, if you're more skeptical and you're more reserved with your expectations, chances are you won't be as disappointed as often, which is a good thing, especially for me. I'm a content creator, and if I go into every game with high expectations, chances are I'm going to be disappointed by most games these days. So for me, I kind of go in skeptically. At the same time, I'm excited for Ghost of Tsushima, and I hope it's good. I'm not going to go in expecting it to suck, you know? So, for me, I am on the fence about this subject. I think you should go in skeptically, but at the same time, you should hold game developers responsible for putting out subpar games, and there should be more of a high expectation, a high regard, especially if it's a AAA game with a giant budget and a ridiculous amount of people working on it. Why the hell can't it be as good, right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do some very quick shout-outs here. Thank you to those who have cheered so far today. We've got Ace, DJ CTE, who each did a 50-bit cheer, and then, of course, Shirtless Mofo did a 1,000-bit cheer. No one has gifted a sub yet today, so that leaderboard is empty. You know, today's Monday. Monday is considered the first day of the streaming week by Twitch, so all that stuff resets. But, if you cheer today or you gift a sub today, chances are you're going to go right up on that leaderboard and get some recognition. Please consider tipping today if you would like to continue on with the vest streak and you would like to not only see me put on a vest in celebration, but keep that going so we can do that 200 vest celebration special next week. Contributions are appreciated. They are not mandatory on my streams. I'm not asking for anything, but for those who like to go above and beyond, I appreciate that you guys have done 182 straight streams of outstanding support. It is much appreciated. Okay? So, all that being said, thank you so much, and let's have a great stream. All right, let's take a quick break. I'm going to use the restroom quickly. I actually got to go grab the Switch, and then we're going to hook this up, and we're going to get started with Deadly Premonition 2. So thanks, guys. I'll see you in a few minutes. I'll be right back.